the hill.
Hergovic, what was you doing at 21?
Me? I was boxing WSB.
There you go.
Harder fights than...
And I was 20 years old and you was boxing on my undercard. Give me some prep.
And at 21,
give me some
if
props.
I was British,
give me some
if I
props.
was British, you were boxing on my undercard.
Give me some props.
Imagine if you didn't come to Great Britain. Where are you from? From Slovakia, right? Imagine if you stay in Slovakia. No one would ever heard of you, man. So you're from Great Britain, you got everything. You was youth world champion, I was myself, but no one didn't give a about me because I was Croatian, you know. So it's different. I don't disrespect you, this is just the truth, you know. It's different when you come from Croatia, when you come from Great Britain. This is the biggest boxing country in the world. So it's easy for you guys to make superstars, but that's the truth.
That sequence there was a key moment during the face-off. And I feel like it's being overlooked by boxing fans, analysts. You know, everyone is just missing the points that Hergovic made during that sequence. And it's so important what Hergovic said. It opens up a whole debate when it comes to fighters and the opportunities that they get depending on which part of the world that they're from. Now, Moses Itauma showed his immaturity when it comes to face-offs, right? Especially at this level. I'm not sure how many face-offs he's done in the past, but this is probably his biggest one, right? This is the most pressurized one. And he showed a little bit of immaturity by trying to belittle Filip Hrgovic, mentioning the fact that Hergovic fought on his undercard when he was 20. So Itauma thought, you know what, yeah, this is a power play for me here. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm a bigger profile than you are. I'm only 20. When I was 20, you fought on my undercard. By saying that, he kind of exposed himself. He left himself open to what Hergovic had to say. And what Hergovic said is nothing but the truth. I fully agree with what Filip Hrgovic said. Like, it might be painful for some people might not want to hear it, but it's just the facts, man. Like, Filip Hrgovic just reminded Moses Itauma that if he stayed in Slovakia, and that was key as well. I think that's key, and it was deliberate. It was mind games by Filip Hrgovic. You notice that he asked Moses Itauma where he's from. He said to him, "You from Slovakia, right?" And Moses Itauma had to respond by saying, yeah. But Moses Itauma is a British fighter. Like, he's promoted as a British fighter. He was born in Slovakia, but, you know, he grew up in the UK, as far as I know. Yeah, I don't know all the details, but as far as I know, from what I've heard, Moses Itauma grew up in the UK, right? So he's a British lad. But Hergovic just put that out there. Do you know what I mean? Just to make sure he reminds the viewers about the opportunities that Moses Itauma has received in the UK. Do you know what I mean? The opportunity that he's been able to get in the UK compared to what Hergovic has been scrapping with. You know what I mean? Growing up in Croatia, having to battle through. And he made valid points, man. I'm going to keep it real. Like, if Moses Itauma stayed in Slovakia, he won't be where he is today. He wouldn't get the opportunities that he has got so far in his career. Like, no chance, because the market just isn't there in Slovakia. The market isn't there in Croatia. That's why you see the likes of Hergovic having to come here in the UK, yeah, fighting nothing but British fighters. Like, his last 3 fights have all been British. Dave Allen, Joe Joyce, David Adelaide. Because the British boxing market is where things are happening. This is it. This is the place, man. Some people might argue America, but I think right now in terms of boxing in America, it's pretty down, right? In America, they've got so much other distractions, other sports like the NFL, basketball, the hockey. Like, there's too much happening in America. Like, boxing is like, it's in the back burner in America. Like, no one really cares about boxing like that. But in the UK, the fans are so passionate. Do you know what I mean? We've got the broadcasters, all the media outlets. Like, there's a real, like, the machine is here in the UK. Like, the machine, the boxing machine is here in the UK, and British fighters are promoted heavily. They are marketed to the fullest. Even some fighters that they don't even know that. They're not even that skilled. But because they have a following, a social media following, because they have a personality, these promoters are ready to spend money on them and push them to the front of the queue to get world title opportunities. Listen, there's no doubt about it. Moses Itauma is a very skillful fighter. He's very talented. And regardless of what happens against Filip Hrgovic on the 29th of August, yeah, win, lose, or draw, he's going to go on to be one of the best heavyweights in the world. He's only 21 years of age. He's got years ahead of him. You know what I mean? He's going to be a world champion, that is for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, man. Trust me. I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I'll bet on it. Like, the kid is talented. But he will not have had the opportunities that have been presented to him if he wasn't in the UK, if he wasn't British. It just won't happen. That's why Hergovic is trying to remind him. See, when Moses Itauma tried to make that silly comment, you know what I mean? I'll call it kind of, it's not even silly. It's a cheeky comment. You know what I mean? It's cheeky. Like, he's trying to basically belittle Hergovic, you know what I mean, in terms of his standings in the heavyweight division and in boxing overall, by basically reminding him that, yo, listen, your experience, your Filip Hrgovic, whatever you're saying, it doesn't really matter, because guess what? Even at my tender age of 20, you fought on my undercard. So me and you know who's the A side here. That's basically what Moses Itauma is saying. And listen, let's keep it real. Moses Itauma, he's the A side in this fight against Filip Hrgovic. Let's keep it real. Like, he's got a machine behind him, innit? He's the A star. He's got Frank Warren, you know, one of the biggest promoters in the world. Queensberry Promotion, one of the biggest promotion companies in the world. Like, he's in the UK, he's British. Like, he's the A side. You know what I mean? He's the favorite for the fight. Like, he's the money guy. He's the biggest prospect. He's the one that everyone is looking at to carry boxing for the next decade. You know what I mean? Like, he's the guy. There's definitely no doubt about that. So he tried to play that card. But Hergovic had to just throw it back in his face and just remind him, yo, the only reason why you're in this position, the only reason why you're regarded or seen as a bigger profile than me is because you're British, man. Like, you didn't have to go through some of the struggles that I had to get through here to get to this position. And that was a really good comeback by Filip Hrgovic. And you can tell by the facial expressions of Moses Itauma, like, he acknowledged that and he respected that. And that was a big boy response from Filip Hrgovic. You know what I mean? How dare you, like, you try to look down on me, yeah? When I had to, like, go through the mud to get to where I am. Like, you've been given everything. Like, all these opportunities have been presented to you, man. Like, you're from the UK. Like, all the big broadcasters are here. The big promoters are here. You know what I mean? Frank Warren, Ben Shalom, like Eddie Hearn. You got Sky Sports. You know, DAZN are heavily investing in the UK. The money's here. The fans are here. Do you know what I mean? British boxing fans are highly passionate about boxing. They fill up stadium, arenas. They buy the pay-per-views, man. The British boxing fans, like, if they love you, they'll follow you around the world. I mean, we've seen it with Ricky Hatton. Look how many people he took to Vegas when he fought Floyd Money Mayweather. Look at the stadiums. Wembley Stadium. Look what Fury, like, fills it up. Anthony Joshua, 80,000, 90,000. Dubois, like, these guys are doing big numbers, man, because, you know, in the UK, this is where boxing lives, man. This is where shit happening. You know what I mean? And it opens up just a wider debate as to how good are some of these British fighters, really? Like, are they really elite fighters? Like, a lot of these British fighters. Or are they just overly promoted? Like, the exposure that they get compared to fighters from different parts of the world, it's what actually, like, promotes them to be these or give them the perception to be these elite fighters when really they're not. Really is the pound sterling behind them in the marketing that's making them appear bigger than they are, because they're exposed. If you go down under New Zealand, Australia, I'm sure there's some fantastic fighters out there, but they're just not in your face. They just don't have that push. They don't have the machine behind them to showcase their skills. But in Britain, average fighters, do you know what I mean? They're up there, man. because they're with the biggest promoters, so they're in the biggest show. You know what I mean? Like all these young prospects, if you're with a Frank Warren or Eddie Hearn, you know you're gonna be on the undercard of a Fury or Anthony Joshua card. Like they're gonna put you on there to expose you to the wider boxing audience. So they have a lot of opportunities that so many fighters from around the world don't get. And Filip Hrgovic, like, he made some great points, and I feel like so many people miss this sequence. And I just felt like, nah, I had to talk about it because we have this conversation. I see on the socials people debating how elite are British fighters. Like, how good are they? You know what I mean? How good are British fighters? Listen, there's been some great British fighters, you know, over the years that have gone down in history, Hall of Famers. Like, but I'm talking as of right now. I'm talking right now. How many elite British fighters are there? Can you please tell me? Let me know in the comments. How many are they? Or are these guys just being, you know, promoted to the fullest? There's a lot of marketing money being spent on them, you know what I mean, to make them appear bigger than what they are. When really, their skills don't match the profile that's being presented out in the media. Because like I said, man, the biggest media outlets are here for boxing. Sky Sports, you got the Zone investing heavily, the BBC. Like, these fighters are in your faces 24/7. They have the opportunity to really grow their profile. But if you compare it to fighters like Hergovic, who's from Croatia, he had to leave Croatia to come to the UK just to get an opportunity, man. Just to make money. Because there's no boxing money in Croatia. Plenty of pound sterling out here in the UK. And America as well, but I say the UK is the market. But let me know, man. This is an interesting topic, and I'm sure it's going to open up a lot of debates, and I'm happy. I welcome the debate, you know what I mean? Let me know in the comments. We can go back and forth. I don't mind. I welcome it. I enjoy it. I embrace it. Let's talk about it, man. Are British fighters overhyped? That's my question. Are they overhyped, overexposed, heavily promoted? Appearing bigger than they actually are. You know what I mean? It's profile, you know, over skills. You know what I mean? Social media following over actual skills. How many elite British fighters are there in the UK? Like, seriously, how many are they? How many compared to the rest of the world? If you compare them to America, I don't know, the rest of Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Africa. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, my people. I just feel like I'll just make this video so that I can ask you the questions. Like, do you know what I mean? Because I felt like that was very interesting, that sequence there during the face-off. And, you know, I think like, you know, he gave Moses Itauma food for thought, you know? Because if he stayed in Slovakia, he therefore wouldn't have had the opportunity that he's had. But anyways, man, listen, he's worked hard for it. It's not like Moses Itauma just stumbled upon, you know, the opportunities or something like that. He still had to put the work in, work hard in the gym, beat the fighters that's been in front of his face. You know what I mean? And he's beat them, and he is where he is right now. But we still have to admit that without the machine, no matter how good you are, if you don't have that machine behind you, if you don't have the right promoters, you know what I mean? If you don't have money behind you in boxing, mate, you can forget it. Skills don't actually matter until you have the right people around you to actually invest in you to showcase the skills. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, my people. I'll really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching the video, my people. It's me, your boy Enzo, the realist in the game. Please do me a favor, smash the likes, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and please, if you're watching on mobile, hype up the channel, man. It's so vital. You're going to help us get all the way to the top, man. Thank you so much. I'll catch you on the next one. Until then, stay blessed. Peace.